Good morning. I would like to make a very short, hopefully short, market update on the two videos uploaded on this channel over the weekend. So, this is nothing new. This is not adding any new insight on what I would like to see, but starting off with the euro, I'm looking to see if this candle, this specific 3-hour candle, could act as a breaker, because we have a sweep in liquidity to the upside. We got a displacement below the low that made the swing high, that created the sweep in, that started the sweep in liquidity, but we have not gotten a closure below the 3-hour low, so below this low of 1.05329. We have 20 minutes or so for this candle to close, so I'm looking to see if we can close below, so that any retracement back in this area would be to sell price off, to sell euro USD off to obviously the sell side liquidity, and this one that I've been highlighting from the previous video. Going to GBP USD, we have essentially the same thing. Of course, the pound being the weaker of the two sisters, we get a much more pronounced move, and of course the same sell side liquidity is my target. This specific fair value gap is from a daily chart, and I'm looking to see if it can act as an inversion fair value gap from within the next 2 days, actually, because today is Thursday already. So between today and tomorrow, I'd like to see this act as an inversion, especially if we don't sweep this sell side liquidity by the end of today. So moving on to the dollar index, which is what I prefer to start off with. ICT on his live commentary marked out this level. This level is the weekly, from the weekly wick. When you measure this wick from top to low, the halfway mark, this blue line, 106.761, that's the consequent encroachment of this wick. So he said he would like to see a daily closure above this line for him to be bullish on the dollar. Otherwise we should expect some level of consolidation this week. But looking at the dollar index, we can see that we've been respecting this daily buy side imbalance, and we're still looking for higher prices from here. So my bias has not changed, my view hasn't changed, and so far it may look like nothing clean is on the charts yet. And I guess this is also the same time I would be looking to see if we can get a daily closure above this mark, because if we get that by the end of today, being Thursday, Friday's trading would be cleaner, especially going into next week. So that's what I have on the dollar index. On E-mini, S&P 500 and Nasdaq, we have well, these were trade setups from the previous two videos on this channel if you've been following. But last week I was looking to see if this area, this CB, could be used to support lower prices, and I was saying that my invalidation point would be the swing high. But in reality, we did not manage to sweep the CPI high from last week, which is Thursday's high, and it maintained. Yes, it chopped around a lot, but we are finally breaking down the swing low from Friday. For the first time this week, we broke below the low yesterday, being Wednesday. So I'm looking to see if we can break lower. And ICT also highlighted this fair value gap in a form of a BC. From this candlestick's high to this candlestick's low is the BC, but when you subtract the amount of retracement we've gotten, we have this area remaining, this purple area being the remainder of this massive buy side imbalance residing here. So I'm also looking to see if we can trade below this buy side imbalance and potentially use it as some sort of resistance for lower prices. So that's what I'm looking for going into the week. Of course, my target still remains the same, this sell side liquidity from the daily, and willingness to go through that will take me to this sell side here, because of the Nasdaq having similar structure. Below this sell side we have a buy side imbalance, especially on a weekly chart. So below the equal lows we have this area, this buy side imbalance. So that's why I'm looking to see E-mini S&P 500 drop below that, below the equal lows. Of course, we have the exact same structure, or well, similar structure on the Nasdaq as well. We have this buy side imbalance from this candlestick's high to that candlestick's low, and stretched out over time. That's the buy side imbalance, but minimizing it to the area that we have remaining that hasn't been tapped into, this area. Would like to see this act as an inversion 5-week gap for lower prices. So if we can close below this area, especially today, we can find us using this for lower prices on the 1-hour chart, targeting this sell side liquidity, these relative equal lows. So that's all I have on those. And I also covered USD CAD over the weekend on a later video. I still have this area on my charts as I highlighted on a higher time frame. I was looking for this area to act as an inversion for higher prices, inversion, fair value gap there, inversion, fair value gap, and I also marked out this to be my invalidation point, and we are beautifully blasting off to the buy side liquidity residing there and there. So I'm looking for higher prices on USD CAD, but I did not like the fact that we closed below this buy side imbalance. I didn't like these two body closures, so I took the trade, but I ended up breaking even on this. So yeah, but intraday, of course, there is and are a lot of opportunities that could be taken advantage of. Like for example, we have this BC that was created before we swept this internal buy side. Well, actually this was after we swept it, but a retracement into the range after sweeping a swing high for higher prices. And today I would like to see, I'll be paying attention to mostly the 90 minutes chart. I would like to see any retracement into this area without sweeping this buy side and this buy side to be taken as a signal for higher prices. So for example, if for some reason we drop as low as this area, but again the remainder of this BC would be right here. If we drop this low, this to me would be a no-brainer entry to take it higher, but I don't think dropping this low is realistic right now. So I'll be paying attention to USD CAD from a daily perspective. For example, if we leave this fair value gap here open for tomorrow, being Friday, so of course the likelihood of that happening is very slim, but it's a possibility. We also have a likelihood of having an immediate rebalance into this order block. So we have an order block here on a daily chart, and we have this candlestick's high. So there's a chance that price could return, do an immediate rebalance, then higher prices, or we could get price return into this area, this order block, then higher prices. And then the third possibility that I have is paying attention to this very long wick. We have the 50% actually being inside of the inside of this BC that we pointed out on a 90 minutes chart over there. So there is a chance that we could find price returning into one of those areas for higher prices. So that's what I'm looking for in USD CAD. The other pair that I covered was NZD USD and AUD CAD. Of course, as I highlighted already, I wanted to see lower prices, and I said that we might not retrace as much on NZD USD because we're so close to the sell side liquidity, and beautifully we pulled back a little bit into the range. Moving down to the 1 hour chart, we can see Monday's price action. This is Monday. Monday was a consolidation. Tuesday pierced lower, creating equal lows at that point. So Tuesday created equal lows with this Tuesday here, 2 Tuesdays ago, and then rejected high, going above midnight price into this 1 hour inefficiency, this 1 hour sell side imbalance residing there. And of course, with the event, with the red folder event that came out on Australian dollar, we got the displacement to the downside over Asia session today with this sell side imbalance here. So we got the lower prices and targets met on New Zealand dollar and finally Australian dollar. We have not tagged the sell side liquidity / relative equal lows, so let's mark that out as our equal lows. So today, of course, I'm looking for any possible retracement back into the range to be used for lower prices. Take, for example, going down to the 15 minutes chart, we can take, for example, this swing high to the swing low. The reason I chose that swing high, as you can see, it's Asia session high, and for me personally, anything above the 50% of this range is considered a premium to possibly take price lower. So if we ever get any move to the upside into this range, I would like to see lower prices, and I don't believe we'll be sweeping Asia session high, especially being this close to the sell side / relative equal lows. So this is what I'm looking for going into the last 2 days of the trading week, and of course London and New York session. So I'll be setting an alert here at the 50% mark. If we ever get a retracement there, I might consider taking this trade. So that's all I'm looking for going into New York and of course London session, but I believe this will be tagged to the New York session. So let's see. Yeah, so that's all I'm looking for. I've already highlighted ES on this side. I already told you that I would like to see a displacement below this, then use it as resistance for lower prices. Of course, intraday today we might get a possible pushback into the new week opening gap, because we shouldn't forget the new week opening gap top and bottom, and having a red folder news today, we might get a push up to this area, then fall off from there right to the previous week opening gap, which we remembered there was the massive gap over the weekend when the whole shenanigan going on around the world happened. If we don't get a retracement back into the new week opening gap, then we might get a massive displacement to the downside. And if we get that displacement that we want to see, that's also fine, because getting a closure below this is going to give us that confirmation that we want to take price lower. And if this does not happen today, there's always tomorrow. So this is what I'm really looking for on E-mini S&P 500, same as ICT. And yeah, I guess that's all I have for now. Good luck and good trading in the last 2 days of this week. Bye bye.